So if you think muscle is all about looking fit, you're missing the point. Muscle is one of the most powerful protective assets you have, including when we talk about long-term disease and cancer risk prevention and resilience. So today I'm cutting through the noise and I'm breaking down the real physiological reasons that muscle supports cancer prevention, improved treatment tolerance, and long-term performance longevity. So let's start with the real reason that muscle matters. Muscle is metabolically active. It actually regulates glucose, inflammation, and hormone imbalance. And high performers often will ignore muscle because they equate it with vanity and not longevity. And strength tissue actually equals stability, immune support, and metabolic efficiency. And most chronic disease risks actually when muscle mass declines. So the more muscle you have, the less risk you have of actually getting cancer. So it's actually not an aesthetic upgrade. It's more of a metabolic command center. And it's very necessary for longevity for your personal life and, of course, your career life. Because let's face it, your career life's not going to exist if you are physically always sick. So here's where the science actually gets very, very clear. Research consistently shows that higher levels of lean muscle are actually associated with lower risk of several cancers. So muscle actually improves that insulin sensitivity, and elevated insulin is actually linked to increased cancer risk. Strength training will actually reduce chronic inflammation, which is a known contributor to cancer development. So muscle mass will actually improve the detoxification pathways and immune responsiveness. Sedentary bodies unfortunately accumulate metabolic dysfunction, which is a breeding ground for disease, including cancer, which is a major, major disease, as we all know. So this isn't to say about guaranteeing perfection, so nothing unfortunately does, but this is about reducing those risk factors and strengthening the internal environment that your body actually operates in. So when the muscle mass goes up, the metabolic chaos, goes down, and the disease risk follows the same trend. So now let's talk about a dimension that high performers never really consider. Patients with higher muscle mass will often tolerate treatments better. So muscle preserves energy, appetite, and recovery capacity during medical stress. And the less muscle that you have is the higher risk of treatment complications as well, and longer recovery timelines. So strength is one of those known and strongest predictors of resilience across the board. When your system is strong, you can absorb more stress, including that medical stress. Let's talk practically, because none of this matters if it's not operational. You don't need bodybuilding. You actually need progressive overload and consistency. So 2 to 3 structured lifting sessions once a week can actually change your metabolic trajectory. So you want to prioritize compound movements such as squats, deadlifts, presses, pulls, and pair that strength training with protein strategy that actually supports muscles preservation. And remember, consistency is always key to everything. And remember that building muscle is a marathon. It is not a sprint. So you have to be intentional and you have to be consistent with it in order for that muscle to actually start to show up. If you care about performance longevity, disease risk, and the future of your health, muscle is a non-negotiable. It's one of the few levers that you can control that delivers compounding protection for you in the long term. So if you enjoyed this episode and you learned a lot, please share it with another high performer in your life who you think will benefit from learning about this. And please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys next time.